Hey BG Squad. You know, they say no parent should ever have to bury their child. Yet for far too many parents, that's been their reality due to gun violence. On this week's Your Voice, we speak with 3 mothers who've experienced that exact trauma. Yet somehow, they've found the strength to turn that into action for change. We really want to make this a piece where people can really relate to the reality. So I want to ask you, because I know it's been nearly 2 decades since you lost your son. Do you still remember that day?
Yes, like it was yesterday. It's something that you'll never forget, right?
My name is Shauna Brown, and I lost my son, Demal Graham.
My name is Joan Howard, and I lost my son, Kempton Howard.
My name is Evelyn Fox, and I lost my son, Kiesingar Gunn, to an act of gun violence in the city of Toronto.
What happened that day?
My son went out with his fiance and my nephew, and they went to 42 Supper Club. They ended up leaving, and my nephew noticed that one of the other people that they went with or brought to the club that night was in an argument of some sort with somebody else, and he pulled the car over to go get the other guy, and my son got out of the car after my nephew did, and just crossed over the street, and within seconds of crossing over the street he was hit with a stray bullet.
It was July 23rd of 2017.
Yeah.
And he was shot in our driveway. He was 25.
His birthday was the 6th of December. He got shot the 13th of December, and I put him down the 22nd of December. Today I was preparing for Sunday lunch. And I brought these Christmas trees, like a stick with all these little branches and the bulb on it. And then he said, "Oh, Mom, he was a joker. Oh, Mom, where you get that, in the garbage?" You know, so I say, you know what? When you come back, you'll see how nice it looked. But he didn't make it back. So I always tell people December is not a good month for me.
All of our lives just completely changed in that one incident, like in that one split minute. And it's never been the same since.
You don't expect something like that will ever happen to you. You know what I mean? Like you think they're 26 years old, you've already gone through the worst, they passed the stages of rebellion, and they're making a life of themselves.
What was the hardest part for you?
We was just about going to buy a house, and the hardest part, because he had just gotten a scholarship from Raptors Foundation, and he was going to be a physio. So not knowing he's not around to see what he would accomplish.
He lost his dad when he was very young. He lost his dad when he was 12 to illness. And music was his outlet to get his feelings and his emotions and his life experiences out. He had put forth and applied for a grant to start a music program for the Malvern community to assist other kids, to utilize music as an outlet. And he got the grant. Unfortunately, it never came to fruition because he was killed.
You have Millie on your
Yes,
mask.
always.
What does it mean to wear that mask?
He's always with me.
I miss him. Like I genuinely miss him. Every single thing about him. Even the things that he used to do that used to drive me insane. I wish I could get those back.
I know there was a $50,000 reward
There still is.
for somebody to come forward. Has anybody come forward? Have you gotten justice?
Nope. This street code of no snitching and people's egos are larger than the devastation that my family has endured.
We know who it is, and the streets know who it is, but nobody wants to come forward to bring justice.
We talk about abolishing the police and we talk about, not having police in our communities. But how do you expect us not to have police in our communities if you're not willing to police your own communities? We have to police our own communities to rid ourselves of people who are killing and terrorizing our communities.
If you could say something right now to the person who murdered your son, if you had their ear, what would you say?
I would say take accountability for what you did.
I know you're not alone in this reality, but through all of this pain, you found a way to still have strength to support other
Yes.
people. Talk to me about those initiatives that you're a part of.
Well, that's been a huge part of my healing and a huge part of my strength.
Communities for Zero Violence was created in my son's honor. At first, it was more about, getting out there and having people see the devastation that it causes and to hopefully generate witnesses to get justice for my son. But then it became bigger when I saw how deeply my children were being impacted.
And what's the action you want to see done?
So curb the guns that coming over the border. Put things in place for us, mother. Put things in place, back in place for the youths, so they wouldn't be idle.
And the government doesn't seem to think that these communities, it's like they almost don't view them as real people, that they aren't worthy of the funding that they would prefer to use on a gun ban. So they're willing to put billions into buying back people's firearms that have absolutely nothing to do with the community violence. But they don't want to put the same billions into the communities to ensure that we have children who have adequate trauma support. We have culturally specific trauma support and stuff that's covered under OHIP.
We know what each other is going through. We know the journey that we're all on. Everybody's journey is different, but the reality is the same. And it's just so empowering to know that that we have a voice and that we can make a difference.
And we just want to thank Shauna, Joan, and Evelyn for taking the time and finding the courage to tell us their stories and share the lives of their sons.